Okay, hello. We're here today to talk about Collectors Club, and I'm so pleased to have NFT CEO here to talk about his project. And obviously, got my PFP there. That I credit to old Waldo for swapping me his because he bought that yellow one, so we swapped over. Basically, just a little bit of an intro, and then we'll get into it. I know NFT CEO from his Discord, from Spaces, and from really sharing a huge amount of knowledge with myself and friends in the space, and really being, OG in the space, to be honest, for months and months. Yeah, Discord is on fire. I've got a link to that in the description, so please do jump in there and hear more about the project, but also get some great alpha and just meet some good people who are also trading and learn some lessons. Obviously, you've got Spaces, mate, haven't you, every Wednesday?
Yeah,
But that's going to be more frequent as well, isn't it? I think you're talking about doing another
yeah,
one.
yeah. We definitely want to up it to 2 to 3 a week. So we're going to be looking to ramp those up quite a bit in the near future here.
Yeah, so do follow NFT CEO on Twitter. It won't be hard to find him. It's worth turning those notifications on because those spaces are brilliant, basically for collectors, project owners, and artists. Just really answering a load of questions. Massive panel of experts.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to chat through the originals, so you can see that in the PFP there. The upcoming mint of 2C Keys, both the founders ones and Honorary, and we're going to go through the detail, talk about the artists incubators, the educational side of it, the arena, the metaverse, the marketplace. There really is a lot in this project, and it's
There
quite
is.
a different project in terms of delivering utility from my perspective anyway. These talks are all about, I was inspired into the space by Gary V, and I watch a lot of the nifty alpha
Mm-hmm.
spaces and videos, and obviously NFT CEO spaces and stuff as well. So the idea is project reviews, tips and tricks, onboarding and AMAs, and very similar to yourself, I think, about how do we make this space better? How do we, we were just chatting before it. How do we help people avoid the stuff that we've done wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe start making better decisions earlier in their NFT career, and not have those terrible things that you often always start off with.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about that, and it's so let's get into it, mate. Do you want to just introduce yourself? I've sort of
Yeah,
said who you are, but please tell me about,
yeah,
your journey to here, really.
yeah. Sure. So a little bit about myself. I'm 26 years old. I am born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I've been trading NFTs and collecting NFTs for just over a year now. I started my journey on the Binance blockchain. It was super unique. I was trading shitcoins. I had just bought in some Safe Moon at the time, and I was just kind of fucking around. And I was using Trust Wallet, and Trust Wallet had a D app section that they had just added. And when you click on the D apps, you could see a bunch of different apps that they had. One of them was an NFT platform. So I was like, oh, like I heard Gary Vee talk about these things. Like, what's going on with these? So I open up this platform, and I see like people are buying and selling these images. So I was like, this is pretty unique. Let's see if I can sell some. So I had put a couple pieces up for sale, and I ended up selling them for like 50 cents or a penny, or like super small amounts. But I was like, okay, people are actually buying these off me. Like, this is a real transaction happening. And I have like a rule: if I can figure out how to make $1, figure out how to make $100, I can keep doing that over and over again. And so I was like, let's see if I can make $1. And I was able to make $1. It took me like 5 or 6 sales, but I was up like $1. And I was like, okay, this is like for real now. Can I make $100? I was able to make my first $100. I was like super over the moon about this. I didn't realize though, I was kind of not doing it correctly. I was just Googling random pictures. I was Googling memes, and then I was posting these memes for sale. Technically, that was plagiarism. So I ended up reaching out to the founders of the project, and I was like, hey, here's the situation. Like, my original account, I'd made 5 sales already. already, but like they're plagiarized. Those are not mine. I want to reset my account. I don't want to get banned in the future because like I screwed up at 3 in the morning when I was learning how to use your guys' app. I didn't realize that like this is permanent. Like when you do this, like it is there. You can't, there's no take backs, like nothing. So I was like, what do we do? So I ended up refunding the $5, ended up banning the account. I ended up creating a brand new account and I went and I hired a bunch of artists. I think I hired like 10 or 15 different artists to create a bunch of different styles of content. And I had permission to be able to resell it commercially and then just went and started flipping it and was able to make a decent living just doing that for a few months. I ended up taking that money and I ended up running into somebody on the Ethereum network. And this is around the time that like the Bored Apes were minting. Somebody was like, man, like if you're big into NFTs, like why aren't you on the Ethereum network? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty happy over here on Binance. Things are going well for me. And they're like, you must hate money. I was like, what do you mean? Like, let's see what's going on over here. And at the time, I had just missed the Bored Ape mint. And so when I had missed the Bored Ape mint, I remember just watching them go, like, just mooning, like, day after day after day. And I was like, holy shit, like, maybe I do hate money. Like, why am I on Binance when, like, so much more activity and so much more growth is happening on Ethereum network? So I ended up starting to learn about the Ethereum network. One thing led to another, started mainly with just collecting. My first purchase was bonsai trees by Zen NFTs. I still hold those as well. And that was basically like my introduction into the NFT space to now fast forward about a year from there to where I am now.
So super, super early, really
Yeah.
into it. Um, oh, bet you're gutted you missed Bored Apes, aren't you? And I know you missed V Friends as well, didn't you?
Yeah. I was there on mint day for V Friends and I opened it up and I had it ready and I was like, fuck. I was like, for how much it costs, I'm just not comfortable spending that amount of money. And then the mint went sideways. They had an issue with their mint and they delayed it 24 hours and they delayed it 24 hours and they delayed it a certain amount of hours. And it was like, I was like losing sleep over this. Like I was be at my computer ready to mint, wasn't able to. And like 3, 4 mistakes had happened. And I was like, man, not only are they making mistakes, but I also feel like they're overcharging because I had bought in other NFTs and my other NFTs were just beautiful art. Like I was like, I just can't justify spending 5 times the amount on something that's so ugly. Biggest regret of my life to this date was not minting a V friend and not minting a Bored Ape, but part of the lessons, right?
You can beat yourself up about the stuff that you've missed, but you've just got to look forward, haven't you? You know, at the
100%.
end of the day, I'm sure you picked up other stuff and traded it and made
Yeah.
money. And who knew with V Friends? I must admit, you know, no
Mhm.
disrespect to Gary, but your doodles aren't.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, he would say it himself. They're not the fundamental part of it. It's the utility of them, and
Yeah.
that wasn't understood at the time. And
Exactly.
I don't think people knew how much he was going two-footed into it and making it his life and
Yeah.
um,
That's the
those
thing.
sorts of things.
I genuinely just didn't understand the utility behind it, and I was just basing it off, like, face value. I looked at it, I was like, "It's fucking ugly." There's also a bunch of mistakes that are happening with the launch, like, it just felt janky to me, so I wasn't comfortable putting my money there, but moving
You weren't
forward.
alone, though. I mean, there was a
Yeah,
serious amount. Whenever I hear him speak about it, it took a long while to catch.
yeah,
You know, people weren't bought into it. The Ethereum OGs weren't bought into it initially, and then gradually started coming around to it. So, yeah. Well, let's not labour someone else's project. Let's talk about yours, mate. So, probably one of the early ones that I bought. And to be honest, one of the things that I bought that I've always put in my wallet and just gone, I've never looked at it. I've never looked at the floor price. Never thought about selling it because you know, when we spoke many months ago,
mhm,
it was just like, this is the access to my Discord and stuff is coming.
mhm,
And that was good enough for me, really. The sort of alpha and the sort of guidance you've given so many people in the space
mhm,
is it just made it so worthwhile anyway. So, anonymous collectors, tell us what was how did
mhm.
that come about? And I wish I'd got another one, to be fair, and credit old Waldo again for swapping me Mr. Yellow there in the top corner. But
That was awesome.
um, yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the key to the next key. that we're going
Yeah,
to talk about in a minute?
yeah. So with the anons, man, like I had this concept in my head where I wanted like a good clean profile picture for myself. I was like, I'm an anonymous collector right now. At the time I was anonymous and I was a collector. So I was like, I want this guy who's like not like a person or anything, but like a futuristic collector. And it was almost supposed to be like an AI or robotic or a cyborg or like he's not necessarily human, and all he does is he collects. That's his only thing, and he's an anonymous collector. And so I came up with this concept for myself. I had chosen a mask, I had chosen different suits, I had chosen the colors, and I hired an artist and I was like, "Can you make me this as a one of one?" And he made me my one of one and I was like, "Man, like this is so sick." I was happy with it. And I was like, "I wonder if other people would like this as well." And so I was like, "Let's scale it up. Let's make it 111 of them." So I got him to design me 111 of them. And when I went to sell them, I was like, what kind of like value can I add to these? And I was like, you know what? What if I start designing like my inner circle? Like this could be my OGs, the people that are there from the very beginning, my friends in a sense. And so as I continued meeting people in the space and as I kind of developed, I was like, there's not really much to this. It gets you access to my Discord, it gets you access to my inner circle, it gets you access to like information and conversation with me, but realistically like it's gonna be a part of a future project, and that's all I can give you right now. And I made the price super affordable. It was, I think, zero point zero 0.02 or zero point zero 0.03 Ethereum, which is like $100 at the time. And compared to most other collections, like that genuinely was like a really, really, really affordable price point. And it was also a super small collection. So like it does have potential to do some pretty wild things. And so I want to keep it super affordable because I want to be able to bring as much value as possible. I've always believed in the concept of provide value before asking for value. And so the more value I could provide, the more people would trust me moving forward. And so with the Anons, it was $100, nearly $100. And then I provided as much value as possible. I thought the more I help these guys make money and the more value I can provide to them, the more that they'll be able to return that favor in the future when I launch the larger scale project. And so that was my goal for like the last X amount of months, was just provide alpha within my Discord. Anytime that I found anything out, I'm in like tons of different paid alpha group chats. I'm with tons of other influencers. Like we tend to kind of know sometimes a little bit of like what direction things might go. And so anytime I get a bit of a tip off, I make sure to share it with my nons. And it's just, we all win together that way. Anytime I hear about a terrible project or something going sideways, I also warn the anons. It's just provide value as much as possible. And so that's what I did. I just kept providing value, and we launched them almost 6 months ago, 5.5 months ago, I would say now. And like it was a stealth launch. Literally nobody knew they were there. It was 111 of them, and it took us 5.5 months to sell out because I didn't market them, I didn't advertise them, I never told really anybody about them. The only people that found out about them were people that I had like a one-on-one connection with. Somebody like you, I had spent multiple hours chatting with you on like different calls or when we were in those private events or whatever it may be. And so you guys kind of just found out that I had my own collection going on and we're like, hey, what's going on with it? And so it was a genuine stealth launch. I wanted the unique ownership to get spread out as far as possible because I wanted to create like a tight knit small community, not even a community because communities is larger. I almost wanted like our own little private club, like our own little group of like friends.
Yeah, I mean the art is, I love them. I mean it's so nice art. I hated swapping with Old Waldo, but I really wanted my Mr. Yellow. So um, and yeah, just in terms of them. So in terms of the guaranteed utility for the next collection,
Mhm.
you're going to get to mint one key
Yes.
for free,
Yep.
and you're going to be able to mint up to 4 more keys. And we're going to talk about keys in a second. And if anyone likes them, you'll need to go to OpenSea because they're just on secondary now. Anonymous collectors, I believe that's what
Yep.
you search for.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So yeah, you can get them on secondary, and I think the last sale was
Last
there
sale
one?
was, so it was 1.7 Ethereum was the
Yeah,
big
that was
sale that we had.
crazy.
Since then, dude, I'm gonna be honest, the floor has fucking tanked. We had three people that just kept undercutting each other. It's the way it goes, I understand, but it just, we dropped the floor from 2.9 Ethereum down to 0.25 Ethereum right now, which blew my mind that it's taken that much of a beating, but it's part of the process. Like I haven't really provided the utility yet, right? So it's
And
expected until we get a little bit further down the journey for them to go back up.
and to be fair, I was amazed with the 1.7 because You still don't really talk about these.
Yeah.
I've
No.
never heard you mention them on a single space.
No, I actually I brought them up once, and that's when we had the 1.7 Ethereum sale. I mentioned them on a space saying, "Hey, just so you guys know, I do have my up and coming project. The Anons are currently out. They get you access to the private chats with me. They also get you access to like one-on-one advising with me. Plus, they come with access to the keys." And the second I said that, one of them sold for 1.7. So I was like, "Oh shit." So
Yeah.
once I start marketing them and start talking about them a lot more openly, I do believe we'll see some more movement on them. But we're still pretty much in like that semi-stealth mode.
I'm in the position though that I've got one.
Hmm.
So, what can I do? I don't want to lose it. So
Hmm.
there's no real sale. And that's the good thing with them. I think,
Yeah.
most people have got one.
Yeah.
I'm quite pleased that floor price has come down. That gives me something to aim for with the
Very true.
when I get a bit of liquid. Yeah, we've already talked. Yeah, you've got your Discord, you've got your spaces
Hmm.
every Wednesday, around about in an hour's time on a Wednesday. You'll be
Hmm.
doing this tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We start in about 45 minutes from right now. So 1 to
yeah,
5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
and the overall ethos, if you just want to give me your
Mhm.
quick synopsis of it.
Yeah, of course. One thing about the Anons that I want to jump back to before we
Yeah,
move on to the spaces is with the keys, the way that we design the Anon versus the key and the pricing is sticking to my original philosophy of like, I want to provide as much value as possible. We sold the Anons for 0.03. That's half the price of a key. You get a free key with an Anon. So the key selling for 0.069 and the Anons for 0.03. By holding an Anon, you get a free key that's valued at 0.069. So that alone has already doubled the value that you paid for one Anon, and you'll have another 4 keys reserved for you. You do have to pay full price for the other 4, but if
yeah,
you're somebody that doesn't want to, you literally can just redeem a free key, sell it, and you 2x your money on your Anon already just by
yeah,
redeeming and selling your free key. And so that was the logic I wanted to bring to my Anon collectors. Like, I'm looking out, no matter what, you guys will get the most value possible. You paid zero point zero 0.03, instantly you can double your money now just by redeeming a free key, as long as the floor price on the key stays above mint. But that was kind of the logic of how we price them as well. And once again, sticking to our original values of we want to bring as much value to our original collectors as possible.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing to complain about the value that it's given, because the utility was, access to yourself, to the
Mhm.
spaces, to the Discord, and to information really, and learning and education. So, you know, um, on top of that, you've got a guaranteed 2x.
Yeah, that was the
Um,
logic.
yeah, yeah, brilliant.
Uh, that's pretty much it. I want to just clarify the pricing that we had set up and why we had designed it like that, based off of the Anon collectors. That was kind of the fitting what we were going for, is to try to bring as much value to them. But with our Discord spaces, or with our Twitter spaces, sorry, the kind of ethos that we have rolling is, I had gotten into a group chat with a bunch of photographers one day, and I said, "What can I do? How can I provide you guys value? Like, what would you find valuable?" And they're like, "We want to talk to more collectors. How do you bridge the gap between creators and collectors? We want to be able to talk to them one on one and just know what they're thinking, know what they're looking for, know what they like, know what they dislike." And I was like, "Well, shit. I'm going to put a bunch of experienced collectors together in a group chat, and I'm going to host a space with them." And so hence we had the Collectors Club. The Collectors Club was a brand that I was already working on. It was designed to be this mass club of collectors where we all shared alpha and we were able to all get different, like, into different projects together and things like that. And so I started this Twitter Spaces. I was like, well, what if I had a Twitter Spaces where we did the exact same thing? We have a bunch of collectors all hang out in a room, and we can just kind of share our opinion on what's going on in the recent weeks, what we're looking forward to in up and coming weeks, maybe mistakes that we've made in the past, and just kind of share like our general stories and general advice. That's what it started with. After that, people started asking kind of more complex questions that weren't directly just for collectors. They started asking creative questions like, hey, how do I do this in photography? Or how do I do this in 3D design? Or how do I make a smart contract? Or how do I market this? Or how do I be more motivated? Like, just some, like, just all around general questions. And so I was like, shit, like, I got to get some more experts in here. It can't be just collectors. So now we've gone from just a group of collectors to a group of overall NFT experts. I say that with quotations because NFTs genuinely are still really new. So it's hard to consider yourself as an expert. But I can say that there's some of the more educated people in the space that have been around for longer than most. So there's a group chat of probably 50 or 60 of us on a Twitter DM group chat section. And every Wednesday, I just send a Twitter space into there. And any of the people that are available, they'll all group up. So there's typically 10 to 12 of us on stage at once. And then we'll rotate one new speaker in from the crowd who gets to ask a question to the speakers. And between one of the 12 speakers, somebody can answer almost any question that's asked to us, whether it's technology based, marketing based, creative based, community based, artsy based, like whatever it may be, somebody and that panel should be able to give a pretty good answer. And at the same time, all the people who are listening in, genuinely, there's more than one person with the same question. So if you just sit there and hang out, you'll get a bunch of your own questions answered because most of us are confused or thinking the same things. And so when you hear these answers, you're like, oh my God, like that just opened up like a whole new page for me, or like I can see the light again. And so we found that just by trying to Google things in this space, it's almost impossible. You can't really find the right answers. The only way to get the answers to a lot of the common questions in the space are to either experience it yourself and grow through the shit show, or to talk to somebody else who's been through it already. And so we want to create a panel of a bunch of experienced people in the space that have been here for over a year, whether they create in technology or they're the artists or they're community builders, they're moderators for Discord, basically a little bit of everything. And it allows them to just share their overall experiences and answer as many questions from like a different array of questions from our listeners.
And it is crazy. It's a whole range of questions from
Yeah.
I'm new to the space, how do I set up a MetaMask, right
Yeah.
through to, yeah, like you say, smart contracts
How
other
do I
stuff.
launch a 10K collection successfully and raise
Yeah,
$3 million? And it's like, yeah, we can help you figure out how to do that as well.
yeah, and definitely there's a depth of knowledge in the panel, and I think
Mhm.
one of the most important things in this space as well is, finding voices that you trust to
Yeah.
learn these things from, because obviously, hey, we spoke a little bit about some of the Solana drama
Mhm.
recently, and let's be honest, there's a lot of bad actors in this space. So
Mhm.
it's that trusted community, and you've got a great, yourself included, a great panel of experts, and
Mhm.
I'll regularly just sit there and listen, and like you say, answer questions that I didn't know I necessarily had, but
Yeah.
suddenly someone says it, and then the conversation goes around, and I've learned something new, and
Mhm.
I know more about the space, and I can make better judgments.
One of my favorite parts is that when somebody does ask a question, there's not one right answer. It's typically almost a debate between the panel. You'll hear 5 or 6 different people give their opinion on what they've experienced, and it's so different, and it's, like, interesting. So everybody does have their own, like, unique way of navigating the space. There is no right or wrong way. It's just, what do you prefer? And so I like hearing the different opinions.
Yeah, and it's really good, and like you say, it is often that debate as well, because
Mhm.
it's kind of, regularly you'll get an artist in there saying, "Well, what platform should I be on?"
Mhm.
And there isn't one answer, and what
Exactly.
price point should I be
Yeah.
putting these at, and can I have different collections, or does that dilute my brand? And it's really quite complex stuff, and like you say, it's opinions, but it's
Mhm.
opinions backed in experience as well. I
Yep.
did something like that, and this was
Exactly.
okay, but we made sure we did this, and really, really useful stuff. And you do get a lot of artists, a lot of
Mhm.
collectors. I mean, all sorts in there. It's a really good diverse space.
And it's helped me learn a lot, like,
Yeah.
I understand, like, certain things, but, like, I'm not an expert of all realms of the space, and so, like, I'm just surrounded by some of the smartest people in the space all day long on Wednesday, and it is my favorite place to be, genuinely. Like, I'm excited to start doing them more often because, like, I learned so much being in those spaces. I am good at marketing and I'm good at building communities and I'm learning how to launch a project, but I am not good at all of these other things that they're great at. And so, like, when it comes to the technological side of things, like, I learn so much every single day because of the collectors club that, if anything, like, I'm just super happy that the spaces will be around forever because it's just such a valuable resource to me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I love them, and
Mhm.
obviously because of the time difference, I'll regularly kind of fall asleep to that space, and then wake up and my phone's beside me and go, "Oh, damn,
Yeah.
oh,
That's awesome.
I didn't get round to asking that question." But no, I would thoroughly recommend those Wednesday spaces. Jump in there, even if you don't want to jump up and ask your question. Just jump in and listen,
Mhm.
and um, even, just follow some of the speakers, on Twitter. That's regularly what I'll do. I'll go, oh my God.
Hmm.
Oh, that person's just talked. I'll follow them now and see what they got to say. So coming up in about 6 weeks' time, roughly, I believe.
Yep. Yep. Maybe a little sooner.
Okay.
Yeah. Things are
You
looking
got
good
some
is all I can
alpha to
say.
give here, or
Yeah. So I won't go into too much detail, but things are looking really good. Marketing team is lined up and ready to go. They're banging on my door every single day saying like, can we start? Can we start? Can we start? We already have the entire plan ready to go. Our head developer ended up getting sidetracked with a little bit, basically with another project that he's helping out. They ended up having something go wrong. So we had to go and do a bug fix for them. It delayed him by a few days. He's coming back right away. He said he's like right on the edge. He's just about to finish the smart contract for the keys. He's just working on the staking feature. Once that's all set up, man, like we are ready to rock and roll. So yeah, definitely under 6 weeks.
yeah, will definitely give us a little bit of notice, mate, because I need to get the liquidity for this one
Okay.
for sure.
Well,
I'm not missing this one. So the collection, it's going to be founders keys,
yep,
and the honorary keys are slightly different.
yep,
And there is going to be inbuilt utility that we're going to cover off in a minute.
yep.
So do you want to just explain founders keys, honorary,
Yeah,
please?
so the founder's key is going to be the main focus. So the honorary keys will come a little bit later. The founder's key is what we're going to be launching when we first do our initial mint. So it's going to be a total of 5,555 founders keys. Anybody that owns a founder's key is one of the OGs, one of the founders of the club. As the brand grows, we will have different editions of keys. The first edition that we're going to be introducing will be the honorary key. We'll talk about other ones in the future. We're not really looking to leak that as of right now. With the founders key, though, it's going to give you all the major perks that come with the club. Um, the main perk that you're going to be excited for is going to be that it acts as like a permanent mint pass. So, what the club wants to do is we want to be able to. Ideally, we want to be able to change the life of one artist every single month. So, we want to be able to take our resources, our knowledge, and our team, our capabilities, and be able to partner up with a unique artist. And so, we have a couple different artists within our pipeline right now. We have an animator, we have a poet, we have a novelist, we have um, a guy that works with like different like AI technology. Basically, we have like these different like unique types of artists, and they're all one of one creators. Typically, they're undiscovered, smaller artists that they might be able to do a large scale collection, but maybe they don't have the ability to be able to write the smart contracts. They might not have the money to be able to spend on marketing. They might not have the eyes on them yet. They might not have the community, or maybe they just don't know how to put everything together. And so we want to be able to go and say, let's take your creative style and let's take our knowledge and our backing and our money and let's partner up and let's create your dream collection. And so every single month, we're going to partner with one different artist and we're going to make a massive collection with them. And so could be a photographer one month, it could be a game developer one month, it could be an animator, it could be realistically anything. And so every single month, the Collectors Club will drop one partner drop. And by owning one of our keys, it guarantees you one mint to one of our drops. And so it's basically imagine having like a whitelist pass for all of the different hyped up drops. If we can manage to create some incredible drops every single month and we can market them and we can make them hyped, you don't need to worry about grinding for our whitelist. Just hold one key and you're guaranteed one mint that month. If you hold five of our keys, you're guaranteed five of our mints that month and the next month and the next month and the next month. And so we want to avoid gas wars. So now you don't have to worry about gas wars anymore. If you see the Collectors Club is working on a hyped up launch and you want to be a part of it, grab one of the keys. You can mint it on mint day. You'll have 48 to 72 hours to be able to mint your drop. You don't got to worry about gas wars. Don't got to worry about anybody stealing your spot. Don't got to worry about grinding for 45 hours. And it also makes it so that you don't have to go and try and search for these undiscovered artists anymore. We find them for you. We basically have a giant pool of talent and we see who's the best of the best, who's consistent, who wants this, who's here to stay, who has something unique that's never been done before. Now let's put a bunch of money and resources and support behind that and let's create a unique collection to be able to provide to our collectors. So this really solves two major pain points. One, collectors don't have to worry about minting rug pulls anymore. You don't got to worry about minting random low quality shit from anonymous people anymore. You know that this is a backed partnered drop by a reputable brand, which will be known as the Collectors Club brand, which will grow over time. Second pain point that we solve is artists. Artists just want to create. They don't want to market. They don't want to network. They don't want to figure out how to get millions of eyes on them. They just want to create. So you create, I'll market. And so those are the two major pain points that we're solving. Artists no longer worry about how to get discovered. We help them become discovered. And collectors no longer have to go sifting through millions of concepts and projects. They just wait. Once a month, we will produce a high quality drop and we will bring it right to your doorstep for you. And
So
so
it's
that's
like a 360-degree launch pad, really. You know, you
yes.
can get launch pads. Hey, I'll get your stuff out and provide you with the
Yep.
website, but this is more that holistic
Everything.
360
Yeah.
launch pad.
Yep.
And there was clearly method in your madness of doing all those spaces, mate, and talking to all those people,
There
because
was.
obviously you've made the connection with
Yep.
loads and loads of artists, and obviously you're a collector yourself
Mhm.
anyway, so you know artists, you collect their stuff.
Yep.
So let's just talk about so anonymous collectors will be whitelisted to
Mhm.
this collection, but how are you doing the whitelist for anyone who's not an anon? Because you're going about it a little bit,
Yeah.
well, a lot better than most of the projects, in my opinion. You know, you're not trying to spam the Discord. You're not trying to
Mhm.
make people get to level 57 and
Yeah.
invite 500 people. All of that rubbish that can be gained anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's kinda what separates us from, like, a lot of other projects that are trending right now. There's hype tactics that you can use. I'm a professional, like, I'm a marketer. I see what these other projects are doing, and I comprehend it, and I can copy and paste their formula, and I can use these same hype tactics, and I can make our Discord go crazy, but it's not with the right base of people. It's not the right foundation, and that's why I started with my anons. There was 111 of us, and that was my original community. I didn't need hype, but when you go in there, there's diehard brothers that are like we will help each other out. We will look out for each other. We've built that OG foundation community. And now from there, we're going to each invite one or two of our friends in and say, "Listen guys, we've had this project for about 6 months. We've been diamond handing it. We all believe in it. Let's start bringing one or two of our friends in." We start inviting a couple people and we can start making it legitimately organic and have people that are in there that actually want to be in there. And so as an example, when I host my Twitter spaces, there's a couple people that after my Twitter spaces, they'll jump in here and be like, "Man, like, I didn't even know you had a project going on. This is the coolest thing. How do I become a part of it?" Instead of me saying, "Hey, slave away and grind for the next 48 days, and then you can be a part of my project," I say, "Hey, you know what, man? You're early enough. You were one of the early people. There's not 5,000 people here yet. I'll just hook you up with whitelist, man. Here you go."
Yeah.
And they can just have it. And so if you're one of our early supporters, you get whitelist, but that is only for one key. If you're an anon, you get whitelisted for up to 5 keys. If you are a sorry, just somebody knocking on my door here. My
No
bad, buddy.
worries.
So if you are a anon, you'll have up to 5 keys reserved for you. Um, we also are giving them away to different communities. So we're not just picking any community in the world. We're picking communities that I've actually bonded with over time where I see a lot of overlap. As an example, there's Psychedelics Anonymous. There is Root Troop. There's Fame Lady Squad. We have Furu's Mint Club. We have the Platoon DAO. We have the Mad DAO. There's basically like all these micro communities that are just tight knit communities. Monsters on Wall Street. There was that community at the time, but they've kind of fallen apart now, which is part of whatever. But basically, we had these different tight knit communities that we had built strong relationships with. Those are the communities that we wanted to give whitelist spots to. We said, here you go. Here's 50 whitelist spots. Here's 100 whitelist spots. Give them out however you want. If you want to make it a competition, do what you want. If you want to just give them to your OGs, do that as well. But we want to be able to reward the communities that I've been a part of or that we've been a part of in the last 6 months. And we found that it caused lots of overlap and allowed like a genuine, honest, organic starter community for us. So that's what we've been doing with our whitelist spots. Ideally, we want to have about 1,000 for the team. Then there'll be about anywhere from 1 to 2,000 whitelist spots within our Discord that'll be given away to like the OG supporters. And then anywhere from 1 to 2,000 that'll be given away to other communities. And so
You're also regularly doing tweets and people that interact with those,
yes.
and they're not like, shill this to 5 people. They're more like,
Yeah, it's just
answer this
engagements.
question or tell me about a scenario where
Hmm.
real engagement kind of
Hmm.
stuff, and then you're giving them to people who again
Yes.
are engaged and have that same mindset, and
Mhm.
show that they're, you know, kind of I don't know, with just with the same
Real.
mindset,
I
really.
want
Yeah,
people that are not just like whitelist grinders, because when you go after the whitelist grinders, the problem that you get is they're the genuine flippers. They're going to get in, they're going to grind your whitelist, and they're going to sell it at the profit to some random who's now going to try and insert himself within the community because he wasn't able to get that whitelist spot. I don't necessarily want that. I want there to be the ability to have the open public sale so that people that didn't want to grind for whitelist, they can just pay the gas for it and they can get one. And so we're going to have some left for public sale. We're going to have some left within our community for our OG supporters. And then we have some for the people that engage with those first sets of tweets on Twitter to help us get our base followers. Plus, then we have the OG communities that we find lots of crossover with. And so those are basically the different ways that we're splitting up our whitelist spots.
yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's a massive problem. The people that get whitelist, like you say, they are flippers.
Yeah.
You get that problem, then you suddenly get a new influx of people who know nothing
Hmm.
about the project. The
Yeah.
whole first month is just people dropping in, going, "So what's the utility here
Yeah.
anyway?" Because I just bought it on secondary and FOMO'd in,
Yeah.
and of
Exactly.
course, the whitelist grinders don't care. They just want the flip
Yeah.
pre-reveal or whatever, as soon as possible. There's a lot of problems there. I think there's a lot. It'd be interesting to see, how we can evolve
Yeah.
whitelists and the way that works.
Well, I think what you'll see is I think you'll start to see more projects like the Collectors Club come out where it's not a whitelist, it's a permanent mint pass. And that's what the
Yeah,
Collectors Club key is you don't need to grind for whitelists anymore. Nobody likes doing that. You just find a good publisher in a sense like the Collectors Club where you know they produce high quality project after project after project. You don't got to grind for whitelist anymore. You just know that they are going to put their name behind it, their reputation behind it. They're going to have a high quality artist designing the work, and then they're also going to spend money marketing that project to try to bring as much value to the secondary market as possible. If you just sit on your hands and once a month you mint from a project that provides that to you, I think we'll start seeing more of these types of projects pop up. Think of it as like almost like a publisher or something like that, right? Like where
yeah.
they help ensure the success is to the highest odds at least. And
And
so
it makes your life a lot easier as well, because you're not having to have 200 discords
exactly.
and like miss the wallet submission because
Mhm.
it was in the wrong time zone and they gave you 2 hours to do it. Look,
Exactly.
if you can go to the collectors club and know monthly or
Yeah.
whatever cycle
Mhm.
they end up being, but I've got one place to go and I know I don't have to jump through hoops
Exactly.
to do it. I just need to pop in, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
pop in anyway because of the conversation that's going on in there and the alpha that's being talked about, and also just the
Mhm.
trending projects that are being talked about. I've
Yeah.
just seen this popping off.
Yeah.
You're brilliant at that, in terms of spotting those projects just
And
going off and going, "Hey, I'm going to have a go here, I think,"
mhm. Well,
and
and that's
then saying what happened as well, which is
there's
really important.
a lot of projects in my opinion that like when you go into their discord you can't talk about other projects. It's almost
Mm.
like it's bad juju to talk about another project in another project's discord. I didn't want that. I wanted to have like this genuine open platform where everybody's welcome, all projects are welcome, any profile picture is welcome in my discord, and you can drop a link to other projects and we can talk about it and we can have an open educated discussion about that project. Meanwhile we still have our own project, and you don't see that happen a lot. And so I think we'll genuinely be able to make a really nice collaborative space that allows everybody just to have this like cross education where we can all just work together and we can all talk about different projects, and there's no like this project's the only one that we can talk about in here.
Yeah, and that's another benefit of the approach as well, isn't it? Because building the
Mhm.
community and people knowing the rules and stuff like that. I'll regularly drop in a Discord, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like I've posted something and it's ripped away, and you've got a bot message saying "warning one," and you're like,
Hmm.
"Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Nobody reads the 57 conditions that you tick at the front end, and yeah, like sometimes you get massive hatred for like mentioning another project.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do that here. Go to this other.
Yeah.
It's yeah, community, and a shared sort of understanding, similar sort of people in there all the time, and
Hmm.
just like friendship really as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a place to sort of go, oh my God, I got screwed on balloons here at the
Yeah.
weekend, and people will
Yep.
go, oh, crap, crap, crap. I've got a little idea with a project here that might get you a little bit of money back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or just shit, it happens. Don't worry about it. Just, go and walk the dog or something and come back and re strategize again.
I
Um,
agree. And that's why it's the collectors club. It's just a genuine club filled with collectors from all over. We all collect different stuff. Some of us collect on Solana, some on Tezos, some on Ethereum. We're just collectors, and that's all we are. And we're just this anonymous. We are none, we are all, we are one, some shit like that. Like it's just we're the collectors of the blockchain.
Cool. So, just I think we've covered a lot of this. Just obviously I kind of went through the website, and let's just plug again. The website is in the description. The white paper is in the description. Really detailed website, white paper, explaining all this stuff. Really open and honest and transparent, and very, very clear what you're going to do. So. That's really laudable in this space. But so you've talked artist incubators, there being a partnership agreement, revenue share with them, one a month is the idealized timeline. But we're in a space where things happen.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's not gonna hit the first of the month every month.
We
Maybe it
think we
will.
might be able to. We have we have a concept where we'll actually be designing like more than one project at a time. So we'll always be almost like ahead. We'll have a couple of them banked up and ready to launch. So ideally, we want to have 3 projects ready to go before we launch our first project. That way, we
Yeah.
can always be ahead by a couple, and so we should be able to keep up with our one per month.
Yeah,
But
and you're
shit
going to
happens.
get.
So
I just realised I left X mints per key, 1 mint per key, guaranteed.
yes,
Um, and obviously the marketing side, bringing the artists, the collectors together, helping with really everything to do with getting that artist to just focus on their art and
just
get
the
that
art.
done.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of concierge service and
Basically, the way I have the call is I call an artist and I say, hey, we're interested in doing a partner drop with you. What it would look like is you tell me if you had unlimited money, unlimited team members, unlimited resources, and just no limits. Pretend we live in a dream because, in my opinion, NFTs are magical. There's really not much limit to them. It's all based on your own personal creativity. If you're very close minded, you might not be able to come up with cool concepts. So that's why I put the ball in their court. If you had to be as creative as possible and you had unlimited money, how would you design your art style in a 5,000 piece collection? And I wait to see their response. And some of them go, fuck, I have no idea. It's not possible. It's like, okay,
yeah.
sorry, then I guess it's not possible. But some of them go, oh my God, if I had $1 million and I could do it, I would make the most unique experience ever. And this is how I would do it. And man, like, that's what they do. They're creative. They are the most creative people I've ever met in my life. They can come up with such unique concepts that to me, I'm like, holy shit, I never thought we could do that, but let's do it. And so that's how it is. It's just, hey, what would you do if you had no limitations? If the world was your oyster, what would you do? What would you create? And if they can tell me a really cool idea, I will make it come to life for them.
And
And
they're
that's
going
pretty
to
much our
learn a
job.
lot through that process as well, because they're
Yeah.
going to then see how some of the rest of it works. They're not going
Hmm.
to have to do it or worry about it,
Yeah.
but in the same way, just like the spaces work, really, everyone goes
Hmm.
in there and learns more about the round that is NFT collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah.
So obviously you've got the Discord, some other things I pulled out from the paper. So you're talking about poker and stuff like that, poker nights, metaverse play, I think a little
Yeah.
bit further on in the road map.
Yeah. So with the metaverse, it was part of the original roadmap. We actually had the metaverse designed. Everything was going really good. But because we ended up delaying our launch, we ended up having an issue with our first developer. And so this was supposed to be out about 3 months ago. We ended up losing our first developer. And so when we brought our second developer on board, we had to reassess our timeline. And when we did that, we actually ended up losing the original contract we had with the first metaverse company. I don't want to put any names out, but we had an original partnership set up and they ended up changing the price on us because of the fact that we had launched 3 months later. And so It's understandable, but because of that, we ended up losing the original partnership deal, and it was at a pretty affordable price. And so we'll have to reassess whether or not we can officially have the metaverse. We do really want to have the metaverse, and ideally, we are planning on purchasing a piece of land in the sandbox. And once we have our sandbox land, we want to be able to develop it into an actual club. The concept for the club is that outside anybody can come and hang out, but inside is where all of the key holders can hang out, and then you can walk around and you can see the different actual showcase of the month of whichever artist we partnered with. So if we partner with Joe Blow that month, you get to walk in and you get to see a little biography about him, some of his past work, a little like description about him and what he's done, like basically just like a nice little showcase room for the artist of the month that we're partnering with. You can then walk around our gallery, and then you can also go upstairs to the top floor. The top floor will be a private access room where only the anons can hang out, and it'll pretty much just be like a chat room. And so,
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, I can obviously set up some galleries for you
mhm,
for some of these drops because obviously I just well, I've got a couple of things. You know,
mhm,
we met in one of them, and Spatial's really good for just a gallery that you know, setting up a
mhm,
gallery to showcase the art where people can go and
yep,
walk around and look at it. Um, so yeah, cool. I think it's a really good play, to be honest, to
yeah,
sit back on the metaverse as well,
mhm,
because everyone talks about it like it's a thing, but it's not a thing.
yep,
It's hundreds and thousands of things at the moment,
yep,
and watching how that plays out, like you say, you know, Sandbox may be the place, but actually,
exactly.
Sandbox may not in six
Yeah,
months' time. There could be something completely new and different and a much better fit for what
yeah.
you're trying to achieve, because it's all about, it's not about just having a snazzy thing in the metaverse. It's
Mhm.
about providing value, isn't it?
Exactly, and so we'd have to see what the concepts look like. We had the one concept design done up, and like I thought it was pretty cool. I do think it'll add a lot of value, but I want to leave it up to the community. I want to see if it's something that will be utilized, and do you really want it? Because the main concept would just be to have it as a showcase room for when you would go to purchase the partner drop that month. Is it gives you an actual gallery to walk around and learn more about the artist versus just doing it on a landing page on our website. So it'll be more immersive and it'll be a better experience. But is that worth the cost of the metaverse and actually setting
Mm.
that all up? And so that's what I want to talk to the community about. Is this something that you guys genuinely want? Is this something that'll be used? Do we wait till there's better technology to be able to create it, or do we jump on the opportunity to get in the sandbox now while it's still somewhat affordable? So these are the kind of things that we're debating behind the scenes. Um, and I just don't have a 100% finalized answer on that yet.
And there's a big overhead to the, you know, to the sandbox, because it's not just a
Yeah.
case of, hey, buy the piece of land. You've
Yep.
also
Then you
got to
develop it
develop
too.
that land.
Yeah.
The things I like, you know, the couple of different versions that you've seen, they're so good, because an idiot like me with zero technical skills can actually set up that space. You
Yeah.
know,
Those
I
are pretty
don't
cool.
need to develop. I
Yeah.
can just go and do.
Yep.
Um, and that can serve a purpose to a point, but obviously you are then limited by the box
Yeah.
of what you can do. You know, the world is not your oyster, but actually, you know, some of these products are amazing. So I have heard some people come and pitch metaverse plays, and I'm going, yeah, but I can buy that now, you know, in a very affordable way, like
Hmm.
$10 a month or something, and I get that functionality. So you're talking about, wow, we're going to do this NFT and we're going to raise millions of pounds, and the functionality you get is something you can get off the shelf.
Yep.
So, you know, there's definitely, yeah, it's one of those weird things, isn't it? Everyone talks about the metaverse like it is a thing,
Yeah.
but reality is it's so early on the
Yeah.
metaverse, isn't it? You know,
I find like even like Twitter Spaces and shit like that to me is like the metaverse. Like we're connecting digitally more
yeah,
than I would be like in person. Like I would never be in that group of those 50 people. That's because of the metaverse. Like that's us. We met in the metaverse pretty much, and we're talking virtually, and we're building a virtual identity, and we're building a virtual community, and we're building virtual connections. Like I will never meet most of those people in the real world. The closest I'll ever get to them is in a virtual reality setting.
Yeah, fair play though. You want the metaverse to be less ruggy than Twitter Spaces, don't
Exactly. And that's well, and that's another point is actually with our metaverse is we want right now we're doing public education. And so the public education that we're doing is great. That's the Twitter spaces. We want to be able to scale those up. So we're doing one a week right now. We want to be able to bump it up to two, then to three, but we also want to have other speakers speak under the brand of the Collectors Club. And so that's why we've actually created a bot now that tracks all the specific speakers that we verify and deemable as Collectors Club speakers. And so the next step from there is to then actually host private speaking engagements within our metaverse. And so these private speaking engagements will actually be hired professionals. We do want to go closer towards the motivational route of things. I've always enjoyed motivational speaking. It's something that always kind of just gets me fired up and allows me really just to work through a lot of things. And so I want to have really positive influences. I want to have guys like, as an example, Gary Vee. I want him to be able to come and do a live event in our metaverse where it'll all be recorded. He can do a workshop, he can do a seminar, whatever it may be, but we can have a stage for him to speak on, and all the key holders get free access, and you can go watch our event. Not only that, but it'll also then be recorded, and you'll have access to all this information on a back end dashboard within the Collectors Club. And so we want to be able to create over time our own like educational board. So not only do we have all of our Twitter spaces where it's just like open concept conversation, but then if you actually become a key holder, you can go into our back end dashboard and you can go learn about specific topics. You can be like, hey, here's Michael talking about this topic, or here's Commander talking about this topic, or here's Bryce talking about this topic, or here's Gary Vee talking about this topic. And you can go in and it'll be like a genuine learning experience. And so we really want to be able to create a much stronger educational dashboard behind the scenes, as well as still have our open educational seminars on Twitter Spaces. So those will still be a regular thing. But if you're looking for something a lot more focused or fine tuned and on specific topics, then you would want to be a key holder to be able to get access to our behind the scenes education.
Oh, and that just opens up all sorts of stuff, doesn't it? A bit like Rug Radio were doing about,
Yes.
sort of
Yeah.
attend to earn
Yep.
kind of
Very, very similar. And so we have
gamification of that.
Yeah, and so we originally we were not thinking of introducing a coin for quite some time. We wanted to be able to build out the entire product and have a functioning ecosystem and then say, okay, here's ways we can incorporate a coin into this. There's already hundreds of different concepts of how we can do something similar. And like you mentioned with Rug Radio, they're doing I think it's learn to earn or something like that it's called.
Yeah.
And so the more that you learn within their platform, the more that you earn. It'll be a very, very, very similar concept to what we are doing as well. Except we're the Collectors Club.
Yeah. Comic.
No, I'm not sure where you've seen Comic, actually. I sent a picture of that to my developer, and I was like, hey, I was like, I have an interview coming up today, and it says Comic. I was like, do we have that in our white paper anywhere? Where did that come from?
So it would. I'll find it, mate. It would be I either website or white paper, but
Okay.
I'll find it. I'll send you the link. I did think it feels a little out of kilter, but yeah. Obviously, you've just talked about it. Education, both public and private stuff,
Yeah.
and one-to-ones with experts as
Yep.
well. So all sorts of stuff around that. So much value. And the arena side, I guess that relates a little bit to the metaverse, but
Um, So the arena right now is more of a marketing tool. So
yeah,
what the arena does is it allows us to engage with other communities. So I wanted to be able to ask other communities to be able to shout us out, and in order for them to shout us out, why would they? They have no reason to. So I built a tool that allows their community to play a mini game in our on our server. And so as an example, I can reach out to Fame Lady Squad. I'm just gonna use them because they're on the top of my head for some reason. I can reach out to the Fame Lady Squad team and I can say, hey, we want to run a tournament for the Fame Ladies. Please submit to us 64 NFTs, 64 usernames, 64 wallet addresses, and 64 Twitter handles. They submit this all to us in a Google form. We then upload it to our website, and now it loads up a giant tournament bracket style where it'll show like these two down here, these two here, these two here, these two here, all 64, all competing in sets of two. Now, the Fame Lady Squad gets to come in and vote on which of their ladies is the favorite. Every 24 hours, half
oh,
the ladies
cool.
get kicked out and the other half move up a bracket. Starts with 64 every 24 hours until there's only one Fame Lady left. The winning Fame Lady gets a free key, a little bit of Ethereum, and a free Fame Lady. So you win a bunch of prizes by being the prettiest lady of them all, or the prettiest Anon of them all, or the prettiest duck of them all, or the prettiest ape, whatever it may be. And so this will now cause their entire community to be hanging out on our website for a week straight, seeing our roadmap, learning about the club, seeing the utility behind it, seeing the NFTs that we have going on, seeing our partner drop of the month. So every single week, we'll be running a tournament for a different community, allowing a giant mass amount of people to come flooding to our website because they win prizes if their character wins the vote.
So
And so that's what the arena is.
is that ready then?
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah, yeah.
seen that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have a bug right now on it, but we did have it up and live. We ran a test, it was working, and then on like round 3 out of 7, something went wrong. So our developer's like, I'm gonna put it on pause, but it's fully functioning. It's just a minor bug in it, but that'll be up and running again in the next 48 hours. And then we're gonna be running our first tournament probably in the next few days here. So we're pretty excited about that. And it allows other communities to have a reason to come to our Discord, have a reason to go to our website, have a reason to engage. It's a fun little play for them. Like it's bragging rights to say I'm the prettiest one of them all. Like I won the tournament. And not only that, but they're going to encourage their friends to vote for them as well. So they're going to go on Twitter and say, "Yo, go vote for me. Like I need to win this tournament." And so that's going to be a big marketing tool that we've designed within the club alone. And we're the collectors, so we watch for entertainment from afar.
and I can add a layer which you've probably thought about already as well, where you're almost getting points. So the people that come in and vote in, if their one wins, they win a requisite amount of points as well. So it's not just me with my PFP.
Yeah.
The other people have some gamified element around it as well. So
That's
you can
fucking
get the
genius.
whole community out of 64 PFPs, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
oh,
haven't considered that. I really like that concept though of gamifying it for the other users as well, where there's a point system based off of your votes, where you can choose like at the very start of the tournament when there's 64, if you can select the winner, you get a mass prize as well. And on top
yeah,
of that, for every vote you have, you get like 1 point, like one coin or something like that. And so
yeah,
once
it's
again, we have to introduce a coin system first. And so we see the utility of different ways where we can insert a coin already, but we want to watch everything function. We want to see how it all works, and then we want to introduce the coin at a later date because we do not want to rush the tokenomics of how that's going to play out, because we do think it's going to be such an important part of our ecosystem. So step one is to build out our launch pad. Step two is going to be to build out our metaverse. Step three is going to be to finalize our actual back end dashboard of our educational stuff. Step four is going to be to launch our full blown marketplace. And then from there, we're going to see how do we incorporate a coin system, because we want to be able to have a coin so you can purchase partner drops without Ethereum. You can use the coins that you've earned within our ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, for that gamifying, I don't think you need the coin at day one because you've got all sorts of other things. You know, it's a
True.
competition, isn't
Yeah.
it? Jackbox Games does it as well. There's various Jackbox games where you kind of can have 8 players, but you can have
Hmm.
up to hundreds playing that are actually just voting. And
Okay.
then if their thing wins, they get the requisite amount of points
Yeah.
depending on who voted. So you've got that layer of the
Yeah.
competition, and then you've got the layer of voting and
And the actual people
another
competing.
competition on top. But
Hmm.
being able to do it for hundreds rather than
Yeah.
64, you know, that's really really cool. Obviously, you've got a blog as well
Yeah.
that you're going to be doing.
It's just a basic blog just to keep you updated with what the club's doing. All of our new partnerships, we've closed, I think, like 4 or 5 partnerships in the past few weeks, and we haven't announced any of them. And so, like, moving forward, every time we close a partnership, we'll make sure to announce that. When we add a new feature, we'll make sure to announce it. It's basically just like an in-depth what we're doing. We'll have some stuff on our Twitter and in our Discord as well, but that's where you can go to find like the nitty-gritty, almost like a white paper version of what we're doing.
Yeah, cool. Marketplace you've already mentioned. Really aggressive and complex stuff. You know, credit card payments, cross chain, which is a technical nightmare,
Yeah.
as the wormhole exploit has shown recently. And in real life applications as well. I think that was that in real life events. I can't remember.
Yeah, so we definitely want to have a bunch of cool technology in the future with our marketplace. Our marketplace is definitely like phase 3 though. Like I definitely can't go into the details on all the stuff that we're going to have. We kept it pretty bland as of right now because nothing's written in stone when it comes to the final phase. As of right
Yeah.
now, the main focus is just going to be the launch pad, and the launch pad is a simpler term for our artist incubator. And so once we have the ability to be able to do that successfully, repetitively, then we will start developing out our marketplace. And the marketplace will just make it so that there's a lot more of an efficient way to be able to buy and sell our partner drops as well as any other drops. We want to just be able to create a much cleaner marketplace that'll be exclusive to our key holders.
Oh, hopefully you're going to give free money out as well, mate. You're always good at finding those free money drops.
Yeah, those things are everywhere, man. I get them DM'd to me all the time. That's why people are like, yo, we got some more money. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so multiple wallets based on charity, the 2C ones, the founders wallet, and a community wallet as well.
Mhm.
We don't need to go into the tokenomics. I think we've covered a hell of a lot of detail there. Is there anything I didn't pick up that you want to?
Yes, the honorary keys. I scooched over those and I never went back to them. And
Yeah,
so the way the honorary keys are designed is the honorary keys are actually free. So you'll never have to pay for an honorary key. You'll actually be gifted them based off of how much money you spend on our partner drops. So for every 3 partner drops that you participate in, you'll earn 1 free honorary key. So think of it like when you go to like a juice store and they take that punch card and they're like, and they punch it every time you get a juice. After your 5th juice, you get a free juice. Basically what we're going to be doing. And so once you've used that key once, that'll be a one-time use on it. Use it 2 more times, you'll now get airdropped another key for free. This key will be on the Polygon chain most likely though. That way we can do these free airdrops. That has not been confirmed yet though, but that's kind of the route that we're looking at doing this, is having them airdropped on the Polygon network. This key will now give you access to all future partner drops as well. So instead of just having 1 key for 1 mint, you now have a second key so you can get 2 mints that month. And so this can keep happening over and over and over. After you've used the 1 key 3 times, it resets. Use it another 3 times, you'll unlock another honorary key. You can choose to sell the honorary key on secondary because if somebody else wants to be able to access our partner drops, they need a key. They might not be willing to pay for the founder's key because the founder's keys might be a little bit more expensive. So you can let go of one of your other keys. And so that's where the honorary keys come into play. You can also say, if you have that friend and you want to introduce them to NFTs and you're scared that they're going to go and mint some rug pulls or they're going to mint some garbage,
yeah.
you can give them that honorary key and you can say, hey, you're one of my homies. Here's an honorary key for you. Just wait on a collectors club drop. And that would be a great introduction for anybody into the space. Not only is the collectors club good for experienced players like myself to meet other experienced players, but it's also a great place for newbies to come in and learn in a safe environment.
Yeah, I wish that had been available when I
Yeah,
started,
me too. That's
Um,
why I built it. I was like, man,
yeah,
this would have saved me a lot of time, energy, and money if I had this for myself when I first started. It's a place full of experts, and they almost protect your money where you're not minting stuff every day. You just wait for 1 good quality mint a month. And if I
yeah.
did that from day 1, I would have learned so much more if I was just patient.
Be selective, sit
Yeah,
back. It was the conversation we were having before we went live. Sit
yeah,
back,
exactly.
wait, don't
Yeah.
FOMO into stuff. That was brilliant yesterday with Captain Kicks. Did you see it? Did you see the original video?
No.
Oh, it's the worst case of FOMO I've ever seen. He was on a live stream and those
Yeah.
Pixelmon were dropping.
Oh.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to mint," and then the website was being slow because of the traffic. And he was saying, "Can people let me know in the chat how many had gone?" And there was like 2,000 gone, and he was like
Oh.
scrabbling around, and he bought 2, and then he bought another 2 more.
Oh.
And it was so FOMO buy. And I
Yeah.
actually thought what he did was right because he had to correct that after the video. He had to come out and say, shit, that was a really bad buy. Don't go following me into this
Yeah.
because I'm now getting out at a. I mean, that
Now,
was
and who is this? Was this spectacular art or whatever? Okay.
spectacular art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stroke Captain Kicks,
Yeah.
yeah. But then he got a load of stick about people saying, "Oh, he FOMO'd in," and no, he tried to hype people into buying and then fudded the hell out of it. And
Nah.
that wasn't what I saw. What I saw was him FOMOing into something and then being honest and upfront and going, "I've
Yeah.
just taken a 4 Ethereum loss on
Yeah.
that.
I-
I didn't realize X, Y, and Z."
Yeah, I think he's a pretty honest trader. I've been following him actually since
Oh,
like he's probably one of the first people I followed when I joined the space, and I've never really seen him fuck up like in like a negative way. Like he makes mistakes with trades, but he's genuinely pretty honest. Not one of the bad actors, I don't think.
no, no, no. None of them are. They don't. The alpha, nifty alpha
Yeah,
crew. They
yeah,
just don't. They're not like, hey, buy our bags sort of stuff.
mhm,
They're honest and open, and bit like you. Come and tell
yeah.
us the wins, tell us the losses.
I can give you a little bit of alpha here. So this isn't something that we're going to publicly release. So anybody who makes it to this far of the video, this is basically like a little secret leak. So we incorporated a way to be able to rent out the keys. So only founders' keys you'll be able to rent out. But what we're going to create is so that if you don't want to use your partnered mint for the month, somebody else can come and pay you a premium to use your key to mint the partner drop that month. So if you hold 5 or 10 keys, you put 5 up for rent and you can set like how much they get rented out for. So you
Yeah,
could say a 20% increase. So if that month we do a partner drop for zero point 0.1 Ethereum, they'd have to pay 0.12 Ethereum. Zero point 0.1 would go towards the drop, and 0.02, the extra 20%, would actually go into your pocket for being the original owner of that key. So if you're not looking to actually mint each drop every month, if you don't have the liquidity, put it up for rent, leave a couple keys up for rent. Every month somebody comes and uses them, you're making a percentage of that based off of them renting your key off of you. And so that's something that we are going to be incorporating. It will be with launch. So we are super excited about that. But nobody's going to know. We're not going to announce it. We're not going to talk about it. We are going to launch our project. We are going to get up to our first partner drop. And then a couple weeks into it, we'll be like, hey, surprise, now you can stake your keys. Even though it's already built in, we're just not going to mention it. It'll be behind the scenes. And then we'll unlock the ability, and everybody's going to be like, mind blown. And so it'll be a bit of a hype tactic, not going to lie. We could announce it now and tell everybody about it, but then people get bored. People like announcements. People want to know that there's still things
yeah,
happening. So we'll launch
yeah.
the major project and then boom, hey, this is something that everybody wanted. Well, we made it happen for you. And so we believe in under promise, over deliver. And this is a way that allows us to do that. We're not promising about that, but we will end up showing up out the gates with it. So we're pretty excited about that.
Oh, I love that. I love the fact that you're innovating before. My biggest
Hmm.
sort of problem with a lot of projects I see is almost, they think the hard work is the mint,
Hmm.
and
It's not.
suddenly you're like, oh, I'm going to rest now, and you're
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. This is now the point at which everyone comes in and goes, right, what's on the roadmap? When are you going to deliver? What is this all about?
Mhm.
Where are you? You know,
Exactly.
cool, cool, brilliant. So I just put up some final thoughts, just to finish off. That's been amazing.
Hmm.
So much depth. A real project, mate. A real
Yeah.
project, real utility.
Thank you.
Um, don't see downsides in there,
One
really.
One more piece. This is even cooler. So
Go
this
on.
is announced, but it's not talked about very much. It might not have been in the white paper version that you had seen. We're actually going to be releasing a Gen 2 Anon for every key you hold. So for every key you hold, you get a free Gen 2 Anon. So the Gen 1 Anons are the OGs, and those will die as the OGs. They will always be remembered as the OG 111. But everybody else wants the Anons as well. Everybody else is like, they want that profile picture. And on top of that, for branding purposes, nobody's going to wear a key as their profile picture. So that's not
No,
good for branding. So for every key you hold, you also get a free Gen 2 Anon. The way that we have our Gen 2 Anon creation system is it's going to be like a video game. Imagine when you log into World of Warcraft, you design your character. That's what the Gen
yeah,
2 Anon will be like. So you start with a Gen 1 Anon, just a base model character, and then you add all the traits and attributes to him and you choose them. You'd be like, I want laser eyes, I want angel wings, I want a halo, I want a golden mask, and you customize it and then you mint it and it shows up in your wallet. For every key you have, you'll get one free customized Gen 2 Anon. And that is
same
like
style.
uh very similar style. It'll be these are the base. So these don't really have traits. They have a jacket, suit, a tie, a shirt, and a mask, and that's
Yeah,
it. It's like a very basic 5 trait character. The other ones will have much more exquisite traits, similar to like the other projects that you see, like Psychedelics Anonymous, how it's got a suited guy, but there's way more complexity to it because there's 5,000 units. It would be impossible for me to make a 5K collection with only 5 traits like we have here. I
yeah.
need to add in much more complex traits. So they will be the same character, but way more things going on with them, way busier.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
so for
so
every
cool.
key you have, you'll get a Gen 2 Anon. The Gen
And
2 Anon will be valued way differently than the Gen 1 Anons, of course, based off of like the fact that there's so many more of them. But that is something that we want to be able to do. We want to be able to provide you with free profile pictures. And so anytime that the Collectors Club creates a profile picture, it will be free to you guys. And so we also have another collection that's in the middle of being created as well. They're called the Cute Collectors. And so it's basically the Anon as well, but a little chibi, chubby version of it. It's like a little like cartoon anime, like like kind of like the trend that's going on with the alien friends, the fishy
yeah,
fam, basically like that little cute thing. We want to make it a non-version of that, and so that'll also be a free airdrop to all key holders. And so we want to make sure that as long as you hold the key, you'll know that we are providing value to you day in, day out. We will always be producing as much as possible behind the scenes. Think of the Collectors Club as like a publishing house. We're just going to be putting out content for you guys to enjoy. Even when you see like trending projects, when you see like all these doodle derivs that were trending for a couple weeks, instead of
yeah.
you guys going and aping into those and FOMOing into those, the Collectors Club will just put out our own version and you guys can have it for free. Here you go. If you want it, you have access to it, mint it. If you don't want it, you don't have to, but don't go and waste your money paying for this version of it for 0.03 when you can have the Collectors Club version for free. And so we want to be able to rush these trends. When we see other people making these trends, we'll beat them to it, and then you guys don't got to worry about spending your money on silly trends. We just, here you go, here's a free version. If you like the art, you like the style of this derivative trend that's going on, here you go. Like when baby apes were popular, we could have made our own baby ape derivative and said, here you go, here's a free mint for you. And so that's going to be another behind the scenes concept of the club. Of it's not something we're promising, but every once in a while we'll say, hey, here's a free drop for you guys, enjoy.
Amazing. If anyone's made it this far, they really have got the alpha drop
Yeah,
there,
that was a
haven't
lot of
they?
information there. That stuff's not talked about in the white paper. That's not talked about on our website. That is like just going to be like, oh, surprise, here's a free collection. Oh, surprise, here's some free stuff. So,
But it's just brilliant though, because it fits the space, doesn't it?
yeah,
Because people are always, even with your amazing detailed roadmap, white paper, really well described, people are still like going to be. We're all like it, Yeah, but so what now?
yep,
What are you guys doing? And
exactly.
having all of those things already in the
Yep,
pipeline
yep,
um, means you're just so ready to deal with it.
yeah. That's the plan, man. And we got to be a couple steps ahead. And I feel like this is the time to do it. Like, this is the time to establish yourself. This is the time for us to build this brand. And this is the time for us to really make an impact in this space.
I'm so pleased I've got an on. I mean, like you said, they'll be differently valued, the 5,500 collection, but anons are going to be really
Yeah.
difficult to get. There's 111, and
And they're diamond handed, man. You don't understand. Like the people who own the Anons are genuinely some of the most diamond handed people in this community. I would say more than 35% of the Anons are held by project founders right now, which is very unique. We're one
yeah,
of the we're one of like the only collections where like a good majority of the holders are like project founders or like whales, like people that just they're not going to sell it. They have no genuine reason to sell it. And then you've got a couple people who bought it because they just had become friends with me over the time and they don't want to sell because it's like a friendship piece. And so like I genuinely think a lot of these Anons at one point there will be a crazy supply shock with them. And people are
yeah.
they'll just they will become like almost priceless, I think, at some point.
Well, I've only got to say, if you deliver on what you're saying,
Yeah.
those things are going to be insanely valuable in the
Yeah.
future because they will be the origin
They
piece.
are. They are the
Yeah,
genuine origin story, man. Like it started with I want to create a club of collectors, me and my friends. And so it started with this little collection of 111 of them. And then that over the months like continued to develop and develop and develop and develop and now we're where we are today almost a year later of this massive concept that I'm so excited to just bring to life.
yeah.
But they're the OGs, man. So it's an honor that you got one, man. And hold on tight. It's like
I
I
I'm
love the shit out of them.
yeah. If someone's stupid enough to have them listed at 0.25, if I get that little bit of liquidity, I shall be picking that bugger up. So if I were you, I'd delist. Um, so it's been great. I put this up there because I thought we could have a wider discussion, but I've actually queued something up because I can kind of predict one thing that you were going to say here. But basically, probably it comes into the realms of what projects are you holding, mate? What is your your pet project that you always like to talk about in your spaces,
Yeah,
and yeah.
there's a couple.
Anything at all you got your eye? I mean, let's go through it. Anything you're thinking you really got your eye on minting, other than your own collection, obviously.
Minting? No. I'm not minting really anything anymore. I got to be honest. Like, I don't see the value in minting anymore.
You
Minting for
play the
me,
clever plays, don't you? You watch the
yeah,
data and you see how it performs, and
minting is a gamble, in my opinion. Minting is like
yeah,
going to the horse races and be like, I think that one might win. I've never seen any of them do anything before, but that one might come out on top for some reason. It's like we're betting on such a gamble. Most of these people have never ran a business before. They've never had large sums of money before, and all of a sudden they are able to raise millions of dollars in under like a couple hours. And then it's like, all right, now let's hope to God they do good things with that money. But like I minted a lot. My first year joining the space, I was minting everything, a little bit of
yeah,
everything I could find. A year later, a good chunk of it is worth $0 now. I
yeah,
learned that it's because of the team. It's you bet on the art and the team, but then the team doesn't produce results with the community and with the art and with the funds that they had, and then it just slowly fizzles out over time. And people chase the hype and they go to the next project and to the next project to the next project, and those ones get left behind. And they're OG doesn't mean shit. There was a lot of OGs from 2017 that you'll never hear about. And there's a lot of OGs from 2018 and 19 and 20 and 21 and so on and so forth, right? And so
yeah,
I've genuinely started to avoid minting. The last thing that I minted was a Beepo, Beepo. It was like this little, like, cute little. There's a movie called My Hero Six, and it's like this little white blobby balloon creature, and
yeah,
it's basically like a bunch of those. And so it was a cute little mint. I was on whitelist for it. The whitelist ended up getting fucking hacked, and everybody lost their whitelists. And so I ended up buying off of secondary because I was butthurt that I lost my whitelist. And now I'm like broken even on it after a few days after reveal. So even that was like a hyped up project that should have done well. But because one minor mistake in the contract, shit hit the fan and people moved on. And that's how easy it is. And that's back to why I just don't mint normally. The last time I almost
yeah,
minted was a couple days ago and I got burnt because of it. I much prefer to just one of my friends, actually, Bryce, which is actually a partner in the club now, which is something super interesting. Um, but with Bryce, he says he'd rather purchase once he's seen conviction already. I
yeah,
want to see what their roadmap is, and I want to see, do they actually hit a couple of those milestones. So after a project launches, sure, they might pump up to 1 or 2 Ethereum, and then they might crash down to like zero point 0.5. But if they're staying at that and you're seeing those buys happen at zero point 0.5 to 1.5 Ethereum, and it's happening for a month and a half straight, and they're fulfilling their roadmap, maybe there's not a lot of hype, maybe they're not talking about stuff, but you know that, like, they're genuine, they're not going anywhere, and they have a good track record, and you're seeing consistent buys. That's the kind of project you buy into. A prime example right now is Cool Man's Universe.
yeah,
Cool Man's Universe is created by a fucking massive celebrity artist with 3 million followers on Instagram. So you know he's not going to get tired. He's going to create content on the regular. He knows how to grow a social media following. He knows how to do art that's engaging to the masses. He knows how to create a family-friendly brand. He's got all the tricks and tips as an artist point of view. He also has the money already. He's also already ran a large scale business already. Now, on top of that, if you look at the sales, there wasn't massive hype, but there was like probably I think a week and a half straight where there was 1 Ethereum plus sales happening. That means there's people with conviction. There's people with real money that are willing to take $4,000 and put it behind that picture. That's a lot different than somebody paying zero point zero 0.03 or zero point zero 0.05.
yeah,
Those are the random flippers. That's just, oh, I'll throw some money at it, see if I get lucky. It's a big difference when somebody's paying 1 to 2 Ethereum for an NFT. That means they really believe in it. Once you've seen that happen for a few days and there's a lot of people accumulating at the 1 Ethereum mark, that's when it's like, you know what, fuck it. I'll get one too because I feel comfortable. It's hit all my other green check marks. I don't think he's going to disappear on us. I'm seeing conviction from other traders. And I'm also not playing with the guys that are flipping for zero point zero 0.03 anymore. Playing with the guys that are flipping for multiple Ethereums now. Those are the kind of guys, in
yeah.
my opinion, that they're not going to let it go for 1.1 now. They're going to wait till the 2 Ethereum floor. Like if you're spending 4 grand, you're not going to leave for a 1.1x. So,
No. And you're also, and you know, most projects are going to have their natural pullbacks as well. So you're
yep.
going to have opportunities because it
Hmm.
just goes like that, you know.
Yep.
Announcement, deliver something,
Hmm.
and then something doesn't come for 2 3 weeks. People are going to start going, oh, shall
Yep.
I take some money out and go on to the next one?
Yep.
you get opportunity in most of them, and the ones that don't, well, they're few and far between. The ones that just launch and just run to stupid prices. And
Very rare. Like fucking Clone X did that, and that's because Nike bought them like a few days after they launched, and like
yeah,
nobody could have seen that coming unless you had the insider news, which is BS, but it's the way it goes. And so it's pretty rare. Normally you can watch a project. You don't need to panic and be like, oh fuck, it's gonna run to 20 Ethereum. It never happens. Cool Cats is an example. Cool Cats sat at 0.03 for 2 weeks. Like that's $100 for 2 weeks they sat at.
yeah,
No movement on them. And now all of a sudden they're worth 10 Ethereum. Doodles was one of the only other ones that actually ran. Doodles and CloneX were two projects that right out the gate they fucking got sent. And Azuki. So
yeah. Azuki recently,
yeah.
uh, Mechaverse did, and what happened there?
Yeah, pre-reveal. So did Hate Beast. And then
Yeah.
those
Oh
are both
god.
very
Yeah.
similar stories, right?
Yeah.
Pre-reveal, it was all hype. It was hundreds of thousands of people that wanted in. And that was it. Like there's nothing else going for them. It was just pre-hype, and I don't vibe with that. Like that to me doesn't really signify the NFT community. That to me is like it's a smart business model. If you can get enough hype, you can drive like insane amounts of secondary sales, right? Like think about what their secondary volume was from the Hate B sale plus their initial sale volume. Like the
And
amount
they're
of money that they
still,
raised.
I mean, bizarrely, they're still holding about 3 or 4, aren't
Mhm.
they? And everyone is like, the art is so, it was like the 6 or 7 they released were bang on.
Yeah,
Things don't line up,
yeah,
traits don't work together, ears poke out of the, there's some really bad, but they're still sitting there. But
yep,
well, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it's
yep.
crazy sometimes.
Nothing you can do. It's just it's part of the hype, man. It's part of the game that we're playing.
So what about, let's give a shout out to our friendly frogs then.
Oh, dude, I fucking love the frogs. I
I
love the frogs. I
I
would die
know
for the
you do.
frogs. Yeah. The frogs to me, they symbolize the NFT community, man. Like, I don't know. It's a small like indie artist. She wasn't here to make a ton of money. It was a super fair mint price. I think it was like $40 to mint them. It was just about being like genuine. They're the friendly frogs. They were created so that she could make friends. She was like, I got bored and I got lonely with COVID. I didn't have any friends and I didn't have anything to do. So I started drawing for pictures of my pet frogs. And I came up with this concept. And I thought if I could sell a couple thousand of them, I could make my own little community and I can have friends, friendly frogs, other people that like frogs that we could hang out with all day. And then from there, they started hosting a mindset, like Positivity Pond, which is like all about like mental health awareness, and they post it like bi-weekly now, and it's just a feel good community, man. Like something about it to me, I don't know. The utility, it's whatever, it's basic, but so was like a lot of the OG projects. Like it's to me, it's one of the only projects that's genuinely just about the community and the art. Everybody loves the art. Everybody likes the community. Everybody likes the founder. It's one of the only projects that you can go and sit in a voice call with the founder for hours and just get to know them better.
Yeah, and it's fair to say there is tadpoles coming up,
Yep.
isn't there? And I think there's coin as well.
Yep. Yep.
And in terms of, we were just talking about the ebb and flow of projects, weren't we? So this one sat below mint
Oh
for
God.
quite a while.
Eons,
I
dude.
picked a few up that
Yeah.
were really nice.
It crashed
Um,
to like next to nothing and we just started accumulating them. I pinged it to all the Anons. I was like, you guys, I fucking love these frogs. Like I have
yeah,
faith in them. They're low as priced right now. And that's another advantage of like being a part of like the group of the Anons. The 111 is like I share is like my honest, genuine advice on everything with everybody. That's in
yeah.
the top floor at least.
So my feeling on these at the moment, given their recent price action, because they went to a one soul floor, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did.
And we're in that ebb and flow period where they've just dropped back a little bit whilst the news is coming out. So I do feel like these are back in that nice
Buy range.
accumulation period.
Yeah.
Point 0.4. That was mint price, I think, wasn't it? Or was
Point
it
three
point
was mint.
0.3?
Point three, yeah.
So still above mint, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think with tadpoles and coin coming, and they're so cute as well. I mean,
And just like some shit like 3 of the people that work for like 2 of the founders and their community manager are all employees at Magic Eden now.
Yeah.
And then we also have it so that they're doing collabs with every other project, because projects want to do collabs with projects that have known reputations for not being rug pulls. They also want to connect with people that have connections. And when the founders all work at Magic Eden, there's somebody that you want to connect with. So we're getting like tons and tons and tons of collabs for all these different projects, which is getting the brand awareness of the Friendly Frogs spread throughout all these other communities and projects. So
Yeah.
it's a good look.
I think it's a really good project. I'm glad you sort of mentioned them. Yeah, it was in Anons, and
Yeah.
you mentioned them, and I think I minted 4.
I
And
got
I've
40
got
of them,
about
dude. I fucking
11.
love them. Yeah, I love them, man. I've just been stacking them. Any chance I get, when I get some extra soul, I go over here and I buy them off the floor. I love these things. I'll
Yeah,
keep stacking them.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. That's been a long time, and 3 people. Oh, wait a sec. There was a comment here. Oh, damn. Mashid, all I wanted to know, it's probably not still here, but all I wanted was to know that how your journey from the beginning, this live chat was super awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
so
nice.
much if you're still there. Yes, NFT CEO is a legend. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And obviously, I've got one, so I've been able to find out a lot about the project. And watch this space, really. So somewhere in the next 3 to 6 weeks ish.
Yeah. Smart contract development is done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then it's just about marketing. We have 2 marketing teams lined up that are both ready to go. Both budgets have been allocated. Both like plans have been designed. We're ready to go. It's just about pressing like the literal like the start button, and I'm just waiting on my developer to give me the green light. Once I get the green light from him, we send out both our pieces to the different marketing teams, and shit hits the fan, man. So
Yeah.
we're
So
excited.
what people can do in the interim, follow NFT CEO, follow me as well if you want on Twitter, Mr. Yellow 1899. Follow NFT CEO. Jump in the Discord as well. Follow the link from his profile, get in the Discord. Interact with the tweets and get yourself on the whitelist, and have a look at the website. Again, that's in the description. Have a look at the white paper if you want to know a bit more. Best of luck, mate. It sounds just amazing. I just know where you can take this, and even with the stuff you've just got as a framework now, it's so super strong. And marketplace. Can you solve the OpenSea problem? Forget Coinbase.
You know
It's
what?
got to be
That's
Collectors Club.
Yeah, man. It's a possibility. Like, it genuinely is. The model that I've created, it might be possible. And so I don't want to go too much into the marketplace stuff,
No,
because
no,
like I
no.
said, that's super future development stuff. But genuinely, like, we want to be able to compete against OpenSea. That is one of our goals. So
And designed, from, again, this 360-degree sort of view, not from one perspective, from the collectors, from the project, from the artists, from the buyers,
yeah.
all of that stuff. No, it sounds brilliant. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, mate. And tomorrow, tomorrow at this time. So I never know what time to say. 8 o'clock UTC for me. What is it in terms of your time zone, mate?
1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Jump in the space, really informative. Come and ask questions. There are no stupid questions. They are such a good, literally from the simplest to the most complex. They'll cover everything, and everyone gets treated with respect. And yeah, there are no stupid questions in this space. Everyone has got to learn, and there's a lot to learn. And as NFT CEO said at the start, there really isn't an easy way to Google this stuff and find a reliable answer. So yeah, brilliant. Best of luck with the project, mate. I will see you in the spaces, and I will see you in Discord. And yeah, thank you so much.
No, dude, thank you so much. It was an absolute blast being on the show with you. I've been wanting to do this. I always enjoy our conversations. I love what you're doing with your videos, man. I've been keeping up to date with them, so keep them coming. And yeah, just thanks for the interview, dude. It was an absolute pleasure to chat with you today, and thanks for helping bring some more exposure to the Collectors Club.
No, and I think, just to go another step, actually, the fact that you come on screen and you're doxed,
Hmm.
for me, in a project, that matters a lot to me. I understand that people aren't, and I
Hmm.
understand why they might not. But I think having played in Solana so much, uh,
Yeah.
there's a lot of value in knowing who you're dealing with
Yep.
and there being accountability and people willing to stand up and be
Mhm.
counted as part of the team, and I get it. It's not for every member of the team to do that,
Mhm.
but just having a human face, you know,
Yeah.
to a project matters so much,
I agree. To me, and fuck it if I'm being rude saying this, like, what are you trying to hide by not showing yourself? Like, the only concept, the only reason to me logically for me to not hide myself is if I'm concerned that I'm going to do something illegal or something shady or something where I'm going to be dishonest or disloyal. There's no reason for me to hide my identity unless I'm concerned that you're going to come looking for me for something. And unless I
Yeah.
do something that deserves that, like, I don't know. I don't like investing in anonymous developers anymore unless they have a very proven track record. Like if they've shown me that they've developed these other projects anonymously and they've done it successfully and they haven't screwed anybody over, then maybe then that would be smart. Like if I found out Board Ape Yacht Club, they launched another project, then I'd be like, okay, these are somebody that's anonymous enough where they've proven their track record. I'd buy into them. Even though they're not anon anymore, they've proven that they're not rug pulling nobody.
I
So
think that one was, yeah. Uh,
who knows the real story behind that? It could have been
that's
a real docs. It could have been like for all we know, they leaked it themselves to the news outlet, being like,
Yeah, it could have been, but
right,
to put that level of because obviously they are very rich people now, and
yeah,
now that that's known, and if it wasn't, as you
yeah,
say, contrived,
yeah,
suddenly they had a real security issue
mhm,
to deal with overnight,
yeah,
which is a bit out of order, but
I agree.
we don't know what like you said, you don't know what was going on behind there. So cool. Any final thought, any shout out, any
Shout out to my ma. I love you. Thanks for getting me here. No, man, things are golden. Like I'm genuinely just happy to be here. I've been working in this space a lot, and I'm glad to see everything come to life. Like I've been wanting to launch this project now for months and months and months, and it wasn't ready. I wanted to keep furthering and developing the idea, and I didn't want to just rush to market. Like 6 months ago, the market was so hot. I could have launched and sold out anything. It was just the market was on fire. People were buying anything, and I could have launched that day. And I was like, no, I don't want to rush this. I know that I'm on something. I know I can build something incredible here. Just take your time and just build it out right. And so we've kept our head down. We've kept building. We've kept networking. We've kept expanding our brand and just built behind the scenes. And we genuinely think the product that we have now is something that can change the space for the better. It's not just a profile picture project. It's not just a random like Ponzi scheme. Like we're really building utility that can help change the space. Collectors don't need to worry about finding shit projects anymore, and artists don't need to worry about trying to be discovered anymore. Like it fixes a lot of the problems that we're facing.
and trying to be devs or police
Yeah,
devs?
exactly,
Because
exactly.
let's be honest, there's I mean, Solana space again. There was that dev that did loads of projects, liquidity pools, and
Mhm.
then drained them all.
Yep.
And how does a person know that? You're
Yeah.
not the dev. You trust this dev.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to a project that used them and said, "Did you dox them?" And they said, "No, they were doxed because of all the projects that they've done, that they could demonstrate and they
Yeah.
could tell me they've done these projects." And of course, overnight they flipped the switch, and
Oh,
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, awful, awful. But uh, that's the thing. We'll make this space better. Better projects make this space better. Better informed buyers make this space better because they're not
Yeah.
going to buy crap. You
And
know.
the Collectors Club will hopefully educate people on the basics, and that's what we'll do during our public spaces. If you want to get introduced, hang out in our public spaces. We will teach you the basics of the NFT space. If you want to take it a step further, grab yourself a key and go and learn within our private educational seminars. It'll be basically what you're learning in our spaces, but on steroids and recorded, so you can go over it more than once. You can do exams at the end. You can literally educate yourself within the space. And so that's our concept of trying to be able to make the space a better place. We can educate the users, and we can also be able to produce a product that'll bring you higher quality collections day in and day out.
I'd love to see some projects start collaborating on that stuff as well, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of projects try to do it, but it's almost like, well, if we could suddenly take 50 good projects and say that $10,000 you were going to put into that in your project, how about we make it 50 times that amount and we make something amazing that all of the communities can access? I think there's a real opportunity there to do that. But
I think even something else that might be cool to counteract rug pulls is by having an escrow service, a
yeah,
service that where you don't get all the money after mint. It goes into a shared account that almost like a DAO account where the community has control over that money now. And so if there's 5,000 holders and you try to rug pull us, we're not signing that multi-sig. Like, we're not giving you
yeah,
access to those funds. If you want to pull out 30 grand to be able to invest in phase one of the roadmap, okay, we all confirm, we open it up. Now you take 30 grand out, now it's locked again. And you need to have majority vote in order to access your funds from mint. I think that would really slow down a lot of the rug pulls that we're experiencing.
yeah. I mean, it's quite crazy. There's a few people who talk on the Nifty Alpha, big in business, and they're saying what other businesses can instantly overnight like hit 60 million funding,
None.
with literally nothing, bar 10,000
Yeah,
PFPs,
literally. It's
and
insane.
having delivered nothing at that stage of their roadmap and could literally walk out the door with that money. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's something a
Like,
little awry there.
imagine like Dragon's Den or Shark Tank. You ever watch those shows? Imagine
Yeah,
walking on there and showing them a picture and being like, I have this picture. I have 10,000 of them. Can I have $4 million?
yeah,
like that's what we're saying. Yes, we're the investors, and we're like, yeah, you can have $4 million for that picture. And we're just letting people raise mass amounts of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, with no proof of concept, no previous proof of like work history, no resume. We don't even know their fucking last names.
yeah.
Like, it blows my mind.
We
So
don't even know their first name most of the time. We
yeah,
just know some sort of nickname.
yeah.
You go in most of these projects Discords. It's one of the things I check for people now.
hmm
Is this Discord ID created literally just for this project, or does it have a history with other projects? Is
Oh,
it a
it's
real Discord that's used elsewhere?
yeah.
And
How do you
and
check
if
that? Do
I'm
you see?
literally seeing this is created and it's only used here, I'm like, okay, that's the
Interesting.
flag.
How do you check that?
Just the way I normally check it is, I think, just open them up and look at mutual servers and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And you can basically get a feel of it as well. Are they connected to a Twitter account that isn't, the project Twitter, and what other servers are they in that you're in as well? Because let's be honest, that's part of the game, isn't it? I don't know how many Discord servers you're a part of, but
200.
exactly. So you can normally open it up and go, well, if this person is in the same space as
Yeah,
me,
they
I'm
should be
going
a
to
part of a
see some
few.
other servers
Yeah.
for sure. And if they're only on the basics, maybe they're on Magic Eden and they're on this. Well, they're trying to sell to Magic Eden, so they're going to join with that thing, aren't they?
Yeah,
So, um,
still not a good look.
no, it's just there's all sorts of things. I've got a DYOR video that I'm going to do, which actually would be a really interesting one to have a chat with you about. So, how
Yeah.
do you assess projects? We won't go into it now, mate. That's been so long anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing in how everyone says DYOR. Do
Yeah.
your own research. but what is that and how do you do it? And if you don't know your way around Twitter and Discord and websites and what they should look like and contracts and stuff like that, what can you do to sort of get a feel?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a whole big question. I will speak to you offline about that one, because I think that would be, it might even be a great just dedicated space to do with putting on some of your panel, mate. And
I can just bring it up. I'll bring it up tomorrow, and I'll bring it up to the panel, and just we'll have it as our starting question. Because for the first 20 minutes while the room populates, I like to just bring up a topic. So that'll be my topic. What do you do to DYOR? How do you do your research?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I should look. I will make sure I'm there for the start, mate. Thank you very much. I'm going to knock it on the head there. Thanks, everyone. If you've got this far, you've got some supreme alpha. Thank you, NFT CEO, and see you tomorrow for DYOR as the starting question for Spaces.
Hell yeah, man. Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being a part of the community, man. And just fuck yeah. Thanks for letting me meet you, dude. It's been a pleasure since day one. Always been good experiences, and I'm sure it'll continue.
It's always been fun, other than the on-chain beer minting.
That was fun too.
It was a fun experience, and it was definitely learning. It was just a really shit project in the end, but
it was. Hey,
it
man.
happens.
I'm sure we'll run into another one in the future. Can't win them all, but we can learn from every experience, and I definitely learned from that one. So
yeah, we all did. We all grew out of that one. We all learned. So
exactly,
it's all good.
exactly.